So what were the comics that I picked up this week? Stay tuned to find out. Alright, well it is April 7th, a Wednesday. You know what that means. It's New Comic Book Day. And I'm back with my picks for this week. And I'm going to ask, before we get into that, if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. Smash that like button, hit that notification bell, get those updates whenever I post new comic book pick videos. And if you want to get a better look into some of the things that I like to collect, like obviously comic books, statues, trading cards, things like that, you can find me on Instagram at MarkNerdyAF. Before we get into my picks for this week, you might have noticed I didn't put out a video last week. I apologize. There was just too much going on with the kid, work, all that kind of stuff. So, sorry, but I do have the books that I picked up last week right here. Just want to quickly go through them just so you can see. In case you haven't been to your LCS in the last 2 weeks, now's your chance. You can pick up last week's as well as see what I got this week. So first one I have is Shadecraft #1. This is a new series by Image, and it was just optioned by Netflix for a new series. So pretty exciting stuff. I heard it's pretty good. I haven't read it yet. Gonna get into that hopefully this week. All right, next up is ENIAC #1. This, I believe, is by a new publisher named Bad Idea. This had a lot of people talking this past month. There was a variant, or I don't know if it was the actual, cover A of the first issue, but it had white writing here that in this book was selling for a lot of money on eBay. And I guess what this publisher is doing, which I think is kind of weird, I don't know how I feel about it. You might already know about this if you went to your LCS last week, but when you get this, I believe if your LCS makes you, according to what this publisher wants, they require you to pick up all 7 issues, I believe, of this series if you pick up #1. That is what I've heard from my LCS, is that you are being required to pick up this whole series. I can get why this publisher is doing that. I mean, this first issue was really hot, and most likely people were picking up that issue just to maybe flip it, or at least just have it in their collection. But a lot of the times, people fall off after the second or third issue and just don't really care that much about it and are going to wait until a trade paperback comes out. So it is weird that this publisher is making people do this, or requesting that people do this. But anyways, I'm looking forward to reading this. Behind on my reading, obviously. I think I'm like 3 weeks behind. We'll get to it eventually. All right, next up is Donny Cates' Crossover. This is issue #5. I believe this series is going to be wrapping up soon. Cool. It's been pretty good. All right, well, that was all the indies now we have from Marvel. First issue of Beta Ray Bill. I love this character. That was a primary reason why I picked this up. I don't even know who's writing it. Probably should know that, but this is a Stegman variant. And that's why I can't tell you who is writing it, because I'd have to open the book up because the writer is not on here. But Stegman did a nice cover here for this new series by Marvel. Another first issue, we have Avengers Curse of the Man-Thing. This is cover A that I picked up. Frankly, I just don't really know that much about Man-Thing, so I figured I'd at least try this first issue and see if I like it. Man-Thing kind of reminds me, obviously, being a DC guy, Swamp Thing. Yeah, could be good. We'll see. All right, another first issue. A lot of #1s came out last week from Marvel. We have Silk #1. This character, I have a feeling, is going to be pretty popular in the years to come. I believe there was like a show that they announced, or it was being speculated that a show was going to come out for either Disney Plus or something that Marvel was doing. Another character I would like to learn more about. So that was one of the primary reasons why I grabbed this one as well. All right, only one book I picked up for DC last week, and that was Batman and Catwoman #4. So this is a 12-part miniseries. We are 1/3 of the way through. Being written by Tom King. One of the main reasons I picked this up, because I was thinking about maybe just waiting until the graphic novel came out, but I couldn't wait. This is a Jim Lee cover. This is cover C or B, I think. But regardless, Jim Lee did a fantastic job with this cover, and I'm not going to lie, the last year or so, whenever we got like Jim Lee variant covers for the 100th anniversary issues or whatever, things like that, I wasn't too fond of them. I don't know why. But this is a really cool looking cover. Batwoman here, new costume. Won't say much more about it. You have to read the series, but it's been good so far. All right, well, this wasn't in my indie pile. It should have been. This is by Source Point Press, and it is Cult of Dracula #1. Can't tell you much about this because I think this is completely brand new. I don't think Cult of Dracula has ever been done before in comics. Maybe I'm wrong. If I am, Comment below and tell me why. I love this cover. This is by Shannon Marr. Shannon Marr does this cool like realism stuff. This is top of the line digital art right here. Shannon Marr is one of the best in the game right now, cover-wise, in my opinion, and I cannot resist grabbing this variant. Simple as that. All right, let's get into this week's books. I think we can go through this pretty quickly. First one up for our indie titles is Noctura #2. This is being written by Scott Snyder. Art is by Tony S. Daniels. Some great people on this book, obviously. Scott Snyder, I'm not going to lie, that first issue freaking hooked me like crazy. It has that futuristic vibe, if you haven't kind of caught that from the cover here. And this is a Tony S. Daniels variant. This is either cover B or C, so it is not cover A. Just be aware of that. But I liked how this cover looked. Everything about the first issue was phenomenal. The writing, the art. Wouldn't be surprised if issue #2 keeps that going. I think this is going to be an ongoing series that you're going to want to get weekly from your LCS. Next up is also by Image Comics. This is The Silver Coin. It is being written by Chip Zdarsky. I believe the art is by Michael Walsh here. New series by Chip Zdarsky. Chip Zdarsky did one of my favorite all-time Image Comics, Sex Criminals. So I'm obviously going to grab this. From what I've read in the description or solicitation, this is going to be another horror anthology. We're getting more of this, with Ice Cream Man, and then we have Ha Ha now. So I think Chip Zdarsky, just the way his mind works in his writing, I think he's perfect for something like this. I would highly recommend grabbing this week. At least get the first issue and see how you like it. Another new series from Image that I was highly anticipating is GEIGER. This is being written by Jeff Johns. Art is by Gary Frank and Brad Anderson. From what I've read, this series takes place after a nuclear war. I would assume that a lot of things are now, radioactive and infected with radiation. Probably we're going to get some weird creatures and things that have adapted and morphed since the war that took place on this planet. But we get this guy here, the Glow Man. I think people call him Joe Glow. His name is GEIGER, hence the title here. But it's a cool concept. I would think this guy would be more of a superhero. That's yet to be seen. This is a beautiful variant done by Jason Fabok. Man, and looking more at this, just the detail in this character's design and the colors. Yeah, it's a really, really neat looking cover. You can't deny this. It's got my cover of the week. But yeah, I think this has a lot of potential, so pick it up. Next up for our indies, which I've never done before, is I'm going to open up this like secret variant cover that's in plastic. I remember I used to, speaking of Sex Criminals, used to get these for Sex Criminals because of there was like explicit drawings or whatever, which I thought were kind of funny, reading that book if you're familiar with it. But yeah, let's open this up. Let's see what is in here. This is the first issue for Boom Studios' new Magic the Gathering series. I've never played Magic the Gathering. I'm not familiar with any of those characters in that I think of it as a card game. Was it a card game initially? I have no idea. Curious to see what this one's going to be about. So thought I'd give it a try, but let's open this sucker up and see what's inside. I almost just ruined the comic book because I got too excited. Oh man, how do you even open these without like screwing the book up? Okay, you got to slowly open the top, I guess. Almost done here. That was a mission. There's a reason why I never opened up the other ones, is because that was a pain in the ass. Okay, so this is the Hidden Planeswalker variant for this Magic the Gathering series. Or are they just referring to it as Magic? I don't know. Whoa, that is a cool cover. That's pretty. Let's see if I can get you a good view there. So I guess this is a spoiler, just be aware. But this is what that hidden variant looks like, the packaged variant that you might see in your LCS. This one didn't have a bigger price tag or anything. It was still $4.95. Yeah, pretty cool. This is one I wasn't expecting to pick up this week. I didn't know this was coming out, actually. I'm sure all the big Magic fans knew it was coming out that are into comics, but I didn't. So this was a nice, pleasant surprise. And if you're into fantasy, kind of reminded me of D&D sort of stuff, this might be one you want to consider. All right, the final book that I have for our indies this week, and a pretty special one, in my opinion, is Berserker #1. This is the second print. This is going to be hard to see because this is a foil variant. But the second print of Berserker #1. This is that Keanu Reeves book that started on Kickstarter, was funded, and now it actually has a Netflix animated series, an anime series, and then it also is getting a movie supposedly, and I would assume Keanu Reeves is going to star in that. This could be a really big deal, in the pop culture universe. I'm kind of taking my chances on this. If you've done any research, you might know that with this issue, well, let's back up. The first issue, reading that first issue, which, is going to be available today in your LCS. There were a crap ton of orders put out, a lot of variants. I wouldn't be surprised if there's multiple variants still available from weeks ago of this first issue. I really enjoyed the story. It is brutal. It is gory. It's pretty messed up. The ending had a twist that I was not expecting. But onto this second print. Supposedly, comic book shops were able to put in a bunch of orders for this foil variant. It's not a new thing. A lot of books are getting these like foil variants. I know Something is Killing the Children got one. Monstrous just got one. They're doing this a lot. So my LCS told me that they put in an order. They put in an order for, I think, 10 plus copies of this. I don't know what happened, but I guess there weren't that many printed. So I think the majority of LCSs just got maybe 2 copies, 2 or 3. So with this being a low print and a really cool freaking cover, yeah, it's quite an expensive book. You can go look it up on eBay. I'm not going to tell you the price right now because I don't know where it's at right now. I would assume today it's going to fluctuate a lot. On New Comic Book Day, it usually does. So we'll see where this one goes. I'm holding on to this. I just really like that first issue. And, this could be an important book to have down the road. Don't feel like, obviously, you need to get your hands on this unless you really love the series. I would recommend this cover because it is freaking cool. But at least pick up that first printing that's going to be available in your LCS and check this out. All right, next up for Marvel. The only one I have for Marvel this week is Venom #34. This is the King in Black tie-in. So I think I kind of messed up because King in Black #5 came out this week, and that is the final issue of that series, the original King in Black arc. This is just a tie-in to that, and I think Venom 34 is what takes place after what happens in King in Black #5. So if you're caught up, make sure you get that issue. Get this one as well. I'm sure something is going to happen in this that's going to be important for what happens in future issues to come from Donny Cates for Venom and whatever else he decides to do with King in Black. This has been a good series so far. Venom is one of my top Donny Cates series. If you're not reading it, there's trades that are out right now. I think you should catch up and see what it's all about. All right, on to DC. First one up I have is Green Lantern #1. This is a brand new Green Lantern series. And this is, I believe, following up after the first 2 issues of Infinite Frontier, which actually would have been Infinite Frontier 0 and 1. I think were the only ones to come out so far. But this is being written by Jeffrey Thorne. Jeffrey Thorne did the Green Lantern, or at least some of them, he did the Green Lantern Future State books. So if you enjoyed those books, I think this is one you should consider picking up this week. There are a lot of new Green Lanterns. Would recommend reading Far Sector if you haven't done so already. Yeah, there's going to be some cool stuff that happens in here, I guarantee. So, Green Lantern #1. All right. Wrapping up this week for DC and for my comic book picks is Batman 107. James Tynion IV and George Jimenez are continuing this series. It has been pretty solid. The last couple issues, I didn't really know where this was going. Now it seems like James Tynion is kind of dragging us along, but for good reason. I'm sure there's going to be something epic that's going to happen in the next few issues. This is a Matina cover as well. Very cool. He's been doing a lot of the B covers for the whole... Actually, he's been doing like all of the B covers for the Batman series. But yeah, if you're not reading Batman, you're missing out. Batman 107. All right, well, those were my comic book picks for this week. Again, I am sorry that I did not put out a comic book pick video last week, but you did get to see what I grabbed that week earlier in this video. So leave a comment down below. Let me know what you picked up last week that you're really enjoying. Let me know what you plan on picking up this week or what you already picked up today. I want to hear from all of you guys. Also, I was looking at some YouTube data and I noticed a lot of the people that watch my videos don't subscribe to my channel. You know how that makes me feel, man? Do you know how that makes me feel? It makes me feel like crap, all right? So go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. You know what? If you didn't click that subscribe button yet, click it now. Hit that like button as well. Do that for me, all right? I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And to my subscribers that have already been following this channel, I love you guys. I'm open to feedback as well. If there is something that you think could make these videos better, I am all ears. If you're new to these videos, these are all my picks for this week. They are not a review. I did not get to sit down and read them yet, and there is reasoning to that. It's mainly because I want to get these videos out to you as soon as possible, because like me, you're going to go into the LCS and really not have much background besides what you see online, or if it's an ongoing series, how the series has been so far. And I'm in the same boat, so I'm just telling you guys why I'm picking up the books that I do, whether it be because it is a great series, whether it be because I love the cover, or I'm speculating it might be worth something more, or just a good collectible to have. All those reasons are baked into my decisions each week when I get to my LCS. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope that these videos have come in handy, you know, in making some of your decisions each week when you get to your LCS and try to decide on what books to get. Anyways, like I said, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. Help out the channel, support me, it means a lot. All right, well, I have like 3 weeks of books that I still need to read and catch up on. Until next time, Jumps out.